Aloha. Aloha kea kua. Aloha aina. Malama pono. Amen. So greetings from the sovereign state of Hawaii. It is, I think, just now the 9th of February, 2025. And I am introducing you to Channel A of my YouTube, and we'll see, but right now I'm going for YouTube channel. And let's see, we just take care of one formality, which is that I'm asserting copyright to my material. So copyright 2025, Benjamin Lipman. I'm giving conditional permission for this video. In general, I wish to just assert copyright to my material, but I'm giving conditional permission to copy, share, and distribute this video. Permission is conditionally given to distribute per share-like license, e.g. with full attribution. In other words, you have to give me credit. This permission is conditional and subject to change. No permission is given to modify the content. Mahalo. I do not give permission to apply my content or likeness, ever, in any form, to any application involving artificial intelligence. Just no. Okay, that's the formality. So I want to open with a little piece of the Bible and a little commentary, and then what I'd like to do is try and open up a little space for a kula to come in. But this is the introduction, and I have a very specific thing I want to share today. So, but we begin with Matthew. This is Matthew 6, starting 19. Treasures in heaven. Treasures, true treasure. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So this relates to another concept that's a general spiritual principle, which I'll mention, which is that energy follows awareness. So, and the Buddha talked about attachment, but basically where you put your energy, there your awareness will go. And so this is a really key point and part of the lecture, and I'll be talking about these two axes. You can see this. That's going to be the basic deal here today. Okay, but this particular passage is just so perfect for our time, right? Because some people are focused on accumulating wealth, and in Wall Street, the bigger the number, the more you win. But they ruin their lives chasing some dollar number in their bank that they'll never spend. Or it's just, that's not happiness. Happiness is knowing joy and ecstasy. And if you don't have an access to some divine aspect to life, you're missing the boat. I mean, this is where it's at. You don't have to have anything. If you know God, you have everything. And more than that, you will go past this lifetime and into the bardo with that garment. And then you will enter your next lifetime with that garment that you brought, that you made for yourself, that maybe you had before. And this is eternal life. And if you don't have that, if you're fixated on this physical realm, you miss. And then when you're gone, that's it. You missed. And you lived in a hell, chasing, attaching, lusting, maybe hurting other people. And then you're done. And that's it. It's such a shame. Okay. So for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are good, your whole body will be full of light. So there's more that can be unpacked with this in Ayurveda, right? Because in Ayurveda, the body-mind is a physical system, and then there's Atman, the soul, that is the witnessing awareness that the vessel inhabits. So the vessel is the mind-body, and the mind is actually fragile. It has to be cultivated. We have to be very careful with what our children are exposed to and how we educate them, and adults too. And then any intoxicants, or if you hang out with the wrong crowd or whatever, you can actually damage your mind. Watch the wrong channel, a TV. You can actually damage your mind. If the eye is the lamp of the body, if your eyes are good, your whole body will be full of light. In other words, if you're bringing goodness into your system through your, in Ayurveda, it's a 7 indriya, the doors of perception, right? Because touch is a perception. Like how you touch. Do you touch consciously? When you touch a flower, do you feel the softness? If you have a pet cat, how do you touch your cat? Does the cat like the way you touch it? It'll tell you. Right? Do you touch with love? Do you feel love through touch? Do you feel love through how you perceive? So there's different senses. There's also subtle senses, and they matter too. And so we can take this eye as a metaphor for all the gateways of perception, and then beyond that, it's actually the perceiving. And now with all the screens and everything, like, what are you allowing into your mind? Very important. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are good, that includes your screen, your eye, your ears, right? Your whole body will be full of light. If you are taking in good things, you will fill yourself with goodness. But if your eyes are bad, if you're watching the wrong friggin' channel, if you're watching violent movies, your whole body will be full of darkness. If you take in violence, you're putting violence into your being. You're poisoning yourself. If then the light within you is darkness, in other words, if you have poisoned yourself, how great is the poison? Right? You're going to be spewing poison in the world. Your family will experience poison. Your friends. And it's just because of a bad choice. We have an expression in Ayurveda called the crimes against wisdom. So this would be a crime against wisdom. Now you know. So now you know. It's a mistake to fill yourself with darkness, because then you miss. You won't ascend. You won't grow. You won't be brighter and more light and have a happier experience of life. It's actually very simple, right? And what you'll find, I'm going to be talking on the channel, and I will repeat things. And this is how I learned, is that things get repeated, because the first time you maybe didn't pay attention, or part of you didn't hear, and whatever. So we'll see if I'll repeat this again. But okay. If your eyes are bad, in other words, if you are allowing negativity into your life, your whole being, your whole body will be full of the darkness, the negativity. And then the light within you, it isn't light, it's actually negativity, it isn't positivity. And then it's just, how great, how horrible, actually, that is, right? To have a negative reality. And we see this, people are trolling on the web because they're just negative. They've lost their way. They're really just in kindergarten. They're children. This isn't adulthood, right? And they're adults who are actually children. And there's a lot of that now. No one can serve two masters. Either he or she will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. And here's where the axes come in. Okay, so there's the horizontal axis. My Root Guru talks about this, and others have too. There's the horizontal axis. This is the physical realm. So there are people who think this is the game, this is it. They're just their body, mind, the five senses, the five elements, or in the West, the four elements. They even miss the more subtle element, Akasha. And they chase money. And that's it. And it's true. I mean, you need to eat, shed, sleep. You need to have basic security. And we have enough resources on this planet, even with our 8 billion people, for everyone to have basic security, good education, medicine. But the people who are chasing the money, that's called greed, right? They're hoarding and keeping it from other people. We just have a humanitarian disaster because part of the government was shut down for no reason. Why? I don't understand it. So I call this the X, Y, Z axis. Then there's a vertical axis that I call the ABC axis. Okay? The ABC axis is the vertical axis. It correlates with your spinal cord, the chakra system, and the invisible realms. So when I do puja, I actually say Aloha Keakua, but I do it multiple times, and I'll go into that in just a moment about what those are. But I want to introduce to you a concept, and I do this on the other channel, so now I have to talk about channels just for a moment, so take a break. Okay, so this is the A channel. To discuss content in this time, we're in actually kind of a scary time on planet Earth. There's maybe 12 major crises that are coming together all at the same time, and the way people are responding to them are different. A lot of people are in fear. A lot of people are making land grabs and hoarding, and there's a rise of, frankly, fascism in the world. The far right wing is neo-fascism or fascism, and you see it. People who don't believe that all people are equal. So I chant Aloha Keakua, Aloha Aina, Malama Pono. Okay, these are Hawaiian words. Akua is God, and it can be any of the divine realm. So I address them all in the full puja. And I hope at some point to actually record me doing the full puja so you can have a nice image, video of an authorized version of me doing that if you're interested. Someone that people maybe see Ganesha. I'll have to talk to Ganesha about that. He's camera shy at the moment. That's fine. It's his prerogative. So Aloha Keakua. I say aloha. I have respect and appreciation and love and feel connection with the divine. Aloha Aina. I have love, respect, and feel connection with the land. And for the Hawaiian people, that is what it's all about, is the land, being here. The fact they've had to leave and go to Las Vegas, I just can't even imagine the wound that people feel in their hearts around that. Malama Pono, to make things right, to take care of making things right, to take care of human relations in particular, right? And so in Buddhism, you have the triple jewel. The Buddha, so that's like Aloha Keakua, right? Because one of the Aloha Keakuas I do is to the Buddhas and the saints, okay? And of course, Gautama was a big Buddha, obviously, right? Okay, so the Buddha, the Dharma, in Buddhism, the Dharma is the way, the teaching, the path, and that correlates to to Aina in Hawaii, to the land. It's very similar concepts. The Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, the community, the people, Malama Pono. There's kind of a direct relationship because these are universal things. There's the overarching divine realm. There's why we're here and our place and purpose. And then the community, which could include animals and plants and whatever, but really it's both cases, it's people. So then in high school, I actually learned French and went to France. And on their coins, they have liberté, égalité, fraternité. So in a secular culture that honors the connection between people and honors all people as having equal status in the eyes of the Lord, the Quakers say that everybody has a piece of God in them, which is basically the soul, right? Everybody has that. And it's our way to connect in both to each other and to the divine. It's who we truly are. And it's our way in to going through the vertical. Is to know that, experience that, and live that. So liberté, that freedom is fundamental. That's the religion in these secular democratic societies. Everyone has the right to be free. There's responsibility, right, that comes with that. You have to have some system of rules, like the Ten Commandments or whatever, the system, body of law. And every society has to figure that out, and it evolves, and things get better. And we still don't have an Equal Rights Amendment ratified in the United States. I don't understand that. There we are. Okay, so liberté, égalité, fraternité, brotherhood, sisterhood, right? Sangha. And égalité is the field, the purpose. We're all equal at a certain level. Obviously, there's going to be meritocracy and inheritance and whatever, but you treat people as equals, as a credo. So what I'm trying to get to is there are these universals, and if you serve God over money, then it's just natural. You see it as so. And this is the difference between so-called Christians and actual Christians in this country. If you really understand what Jesus taught, then you know this. You live this. And you see it. The people who go out in the name of Jesus Christ and feed hungry people, starving people out in the world, they understand. The people who call themselves Christian and then cut the spigot off to the funding for the most starving, most vulnerable people, obviously they didn't get the memo, right? So they're like, what's going on? Okay. I'm not going to rail too much in politics here on this channel. So this channel is rated G, may get into PG. I don't know if that was PG. But I'm not going beyond that in this channel, this main channel, because my purpose on earth is to help you, my friend, receive mana'o from me. I mean, obviously I'm talking, so I'm sharing mana'o here, wisdom, ideas. And if I can help you evolve as a soul on this planet, hallelujah. That's I think what I'm here to do. And so, yeah, this is the main channel. I'm going to keep it as clean as I can. And yet we are on this time on Earth. So I have actually put some other material in another channel. And that channel is called Ben of Kona on YouTube now. And that channel is R-rated. And I don't recommend going there unless you have a strong interest. It's adult content. And if you go into that content, your life may change. If your life is already changed, if you are a targeted individual, as I am, then you may find valuable material there. That's where I'm putting it. But there's some hazard to go there. And yet, we're in a democracy. You can be a child or an adolescent, or you can be an adult here. Now, adults don't have to watch R-rated content. I personally don't find a lot of the R-rated content on the tube to be desirable because it's got so much violence. I find it toxic. But anyway, I'm coming up with that system because people come to me and ask me questions like, all right, do you want G, PG, R, right? And that's what we can discuss. So, and I'm trying to be careful with all of that. All right, so this vertical axis. On the horizontal axis, that's the material world. It also has to do with like the energy we use as a society. And there's a Russian astrophysicist. Incidentally, this is duplicated in the other channel. And that video is titled Our Purpose on Earth or something. I'm sort of duplicating the material. Anyway, there's a Russian astrophysicist named Kardashev who came up with the Kardashev scale. And basically it was a way to peer out into the stars and try to understand what kind of energy output a given civilization might produce. And so if the entire solar energy that falls on the Earth is used by a civilization, that would be a stage 1 civilization. And if the entire output of the sun is captured in what might be called the Dyson sphere, which would be solar collectors all around the entire sun, that would be, and all that energy was used by the civilization, that would be a type 2 civilization. And then if it's galaxy scale energy, hard to believe, but possible, I suppose. Right? Finally, he's a very creative guy. That would be a stage 3. And then the question is, if we keep forests on Earth and they're using the sun, are we using that energy? And I'm inclined to say maybe. Maybe that counts. Because if we were making an artificial environment, we would need energy to grow trees or whatever. So, are we stage 1? Now, in terms of what our civilization actually uses in electricity, we're not stage 1. And there's a question as to whether or not and how many civilizations actually make it to full stage 1 before snuffing themselves out, because along the way they're going to discover probably nuclear fission, biotechnology, and so forth. And we're in kind of this cyber piracy apocalypse right now. We'll see where it goes. Kind of cannibalizing ourselves. We see. I have high hopes because I think people are waking up to the truth and unplugging some. I've certainly found that I've had to myself. Just to be a farmer here and enjoy my life and make art and have my spiritual life. Okay, so where do we go now? I introduced to you the Lipman scale. I'm just calling it that. This is the vertical scale. Okay. And basically, on the vertical scale, the question is, how evolved are we? As individuals, obviously, that's key question to ask as we make our way up toward what the Buddha taught is possible, or Christ. And there's a lot to say about that. There's three main channels: the mind, body, and the heart. Everyone's unique. Everyone has their own way, their own path, their own life, their past lives possibly. But basically, I'm coming up with A, B, and C. A, basically, planetary. B would be solar system. C would be galaxy. So little a means on the axis. Big A means at least stage 1 of enlightenment. Unconditional love. Fully open heart chakra. Or more. Be fully enlightened. So right now, we don't have everybody even taking baby steps on the vertical axis. We have a lot of people who are just chasing money, who are completely lost in greed, maybe drugs. So we're in like brackets A. Early time for human civilization right now. And maybe we can do better. Okay, so to close this, I go Aloha Keakua, and there I am recognizing the divine overarching God, Brahma, Ishvara, pick your name, Allah. Aloha Keakua, that's the archangels, the highest Buddhas. Aloha Keakua, the Buddhas and the saints. Aloha Keakua, the spirit realm. Aloha Keakua, the human realm. Aloha Keakua, the animal realm. Aloha Keakua, the plant realm. Aloha Keakua, the mineral realm, the earth. The living earth. It's possible to feel all of these aspects of reality as divine. And then your life is divine. And there's consciousness in all of this. It's all available. And it's so beautiful. So, if you happen to have a Satori experience, or a full experience of Buddhahood, it's called non-dual reality, and that's when you feel this connection. One of the easiest ways to feel that is through the heart, and to feel unconditional love. And that's the teaching of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And it's actually fairly accessible, especially as a peak experience, like with other people together. It's actually fairly accessible. And just that alone, if you don't know that and you taste that, your life will be changed. So there are a lot of good churches, a lot of good temples, a lot of good people. So yeah, turn off the tube, find some good people, and be in your heart. And yeah, once you start doing that, if you haven't been, you will have good eyes, and your being will be filling with light, and everything will be good. So, our purpose on earth, I contended on the other channel, and I contend today, is that our purpose is to make it to capital A, where the entire planet is in this field of Christ consciousness, in this field of unconditional love. Everyone is participating in that, and then we are emanating that out into the entire universe. And I believe there are other civilizations that are in fact doing this. There's indigenous report, and there's confluence of this. maybe the Pleiades and maybe both the Pleiades and Sirius actually are places where there's civilizations that, whatever they are, have actually achieved this and are sending us love and can be attuned to. So, this is the introduction to Channel A. And let's just see here. If we can find something, let Akua come in. Another holy book. Okay. That knowledge by which one sees that in every different body there is a different type of living entity you should understand to be in the mode of passion. Now this is a particular translation, but it seems fine. The concept is that the material body is the living entity, and that with the destruction of the body, the consciousness is also destroyed. It's called knowledge in the mode of passion. In other words, this is attachment to the material. According to that knowledge, bodies differ from one another because of the development of different types of consciousness. Otherwise, there is no separate soul which manifests consciousness. Okay, so that's one mode, and this is going to go forward. Right, so this is just at the low level, and he's going to go on and develop it. All right, so moving along into action. One who performs his or her duty without association with the modes of material nature, without attachment, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, in other words, without attachment, is said to be a worker in the mode of goodness. A person in Krishna consciousness, which is very similar to Christ consciousness, basically same thing. A person in Krishna consciousness is always transcendental to the material modes of nature. He has no expectation for the result of the work entrusted to him or her because he or she is above false ego and pride. Still, he or she is always enthusiastic till the completion of such work. He or she does not worry about the distress undertaken. He or she is always enthusiastic. He or she does not care for success or failure. He or she is equal in both distress and happiness. Such a worker is situated in the mode of goodness. Okay, enough for today. And yes, in the next, I'm going to work out some way that people can bring questions and I can answer them. But that's later. Okay. Aloha keakua. Aloha aina. Malama pono. Amen. Hari Om Tat Sat. We can know God through the mind only by meeting truth.